Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the guide. I know it's been a bit long, but I can guarantee you that it's worth it. You'll be able to get to level 50 in less than half a day, probably like 8 to 9 hours or even faster if you have been reviewing this guide and trying to min-max your progression. And now we are in the area of the Monolith Wastelands. So before this area, I told you not to do any of the exploration quests in the previous areas because it's a waste of time. Now that we are in this area, this is where things start to pick up. This is where the leveling starts to really speed up, and you will be at level 21 by the time you get here, which is the bottleneck actually, because the Act 5 of the main quest moved from level 21 to 23, so that's why you're doing this area now. This area will get you to level 23, so you don't have to worry. There are certain quests in this area that you don't have to do individually, and you can just skip. You can see I pulled it up right there. Treasure of Daybreak. If you've been speedrunning this so far, chances are you won't make it in time for the night to day cycle, which you need for the third part of that quest. So you can see I did the first two of the quest. You can go ahead and press escape, go to your codex and go to exploration just to see it for yourself right now. And you'll see that I'll do the first part here, which is flame fighters. You're gonna kill this guy until you get the key. If you're lucky, then you might get it on your first try. If you're unlucky like I am here, then chances are you will take a while to go ahead and get it. And if you get lucky, you can just go ahead and skip this part of the video and move to the next one. But if it takes you a while, like it will me over here, then just go ahead and follow along. I'll let this ride right now, and if you're done with this early, I will have timestamps, so you can go ahead and skip to the next area if you want to. No worries. We're gonna go ahead and let this ride for now. Let's go ahead and follow through. And then after this area, as soon as we get the key, all we're gonna do after this, by the way, is we're just gonna go and travel to the southeast of where we are right now to grab the chest that the key is used on, basically. There you go. Get the loot key, and you can see right beside where the initial quest area is, there is a camp here towards the west. So you're just gonna go ahead and run through these mobs right here. A lot of them are not aggro. The orange ones are aggro, so you want to try to avoid. You just want to go ahead and try and avoid them. If you aggro them, it's no big deal. So you're just gonna go run to this big tent over here. There's a box in there called Loot Chest. Talk to it once. It will drop a piece of paper on the ground right behind you. And just go ahead and talk to that. And it'll show you where the area is. And I'll open that up here as well. And I'll post a screenshot of that area right now. So the only way that you can do that quest is basically if the cycle goes from night to day, that area that it pointed out is where you're gonna get that extra item. So if you've been speedrunning this whole time, chances are that you won't be able to make it in time to do that quest. Thankfully, you actually don't need to do that quest in order to get to level 50, but it is a decent chunk of XP. So if you took your time a little bit, then you can go ahead and do that instead, right? And then you'll notice I'm looking towards the Vienta village here, just to kind of show you how close this next quest is. It's actually really close. The only reason why we didn't get that at first is because we needed to unlock the waypoint first. You cannot do the exploration quest in that area unless you've unlocked it first. So you can just go ahead and talk to him. He'll tell you to investigate the charred bodies at the bottom there. So you're just gonna go down, talk to those bodies. No, well, not talk to those bodies, interact with those bodies, and then you're gonna get to the next part of the quest, which is going to be kill 10 desert cobras. But the reason why I teleport here is because there's actually another part of the quest here from the Dastardly Morti guild that you can actually do here. So the same area where you flew off from earlier, you can just you can see me as I'm stopping here a little bit because I need to recover some stamina. Jump up here. Scared resistance soldier. This is part, you actually need to do this quest, so that's why I decided to go get it first. And since I'm already here up top, I will teleport back. Another thing that you can do is you can actually go ahead and kill the cobras here as well, but the reason why I do this here is because it's just less travel time total, all in one go. There's a lot of places in this map that it asks you to investigate, but all you really need to do is go to the one on the bridge, the one that I pointed out there. So just go ahead and run up, go to the bridge. That way you're not talking to all the other NPCs or interactables and waste your time. So as soon as you get to the bridge, Morti Guild Advisor, go ahead and talk to him. Skip through that, and that quest is done, right? You're gonna run south of the town here, up the stairs. There's gonna be another NPC here that you talk to. Morti Guild Advisor here. Go ahead and talk to him. And the next part of this quest is there's a page on the ground. It doesn't quite show you, but you have to just look down a little bit, zoom in, and there it is, right? A little scroll here. So important thing to note. Otherwise, you're going to be looking around for it and you're not going to see it until you actually zoom in, right? So hook up here, fly to this little manor. You're going to go in here and fight some NPCs. We go for the backliners first, just because they tend to do the most DPS, and also because if you hide behind them enough, it will delay the melee. You can see the greatsword guy over there just running around, not doing any damage. Then we go for the mage. As soon as you kill them, you're gonna go ahead and open this chest, and the story is done. You can exit through the gate, or you can just press B or whatever your return button is and just exit. It's the same thing. And so for that Dastardly Morti guild quest, or exploration quest rather, you can choose to go do it all the way. But what I actually do in this instance is I actually don't do the last part. You can if it's convenient, but the thing is you don't need to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the next part of the quest here, which is the Cobra quest. There we go. And then after you kill all 10 cobras, the next part is acquire resistance emblem on the north side of crematorium. So all you really have to do for this one is run past where the crematorium NPC was earlier, and then there's going to be resistance emblems on there. If you don't have it on yet, go to your exploration codex right now and bookmark the quest, because these things are really hard to spot on the ground. And now you see me running past the crematorium worker, and the emblems are right there because I've marked the quest. But you can see how hard they are to spot, right? Like these little dots that you can barely notice on the sand. And I just skipped through some of the parts here for you guys because I was also entertaining stream here at the time, and entertaining some questions. But that's essentially what you're doing here at this point in time, which is going to be grabbing the resistance emblems. All done, and with that quest done, you are now level 23. So what this means is that we can now continue the next part of the main quest. So the crematorium worker here, you can go ahead and talk to him if he's close by. Just go ahead and submit the quest. You don't really need to do it, but it does give you some upgrade materials for your accessories, so you can go ahead and submit, and then you can teleport back to town and get started on the next chapter, which is chapter 5 of the story quest. So congratulations, at this point in time, in terms of the main quest, you are halfway done. And again, the XP that you get going forward is also going to be a lot more than what you were getting before. Granted that you are required more XP to level, but the additional XP that they give you actually far surpasses the scaling from before, so you will end up leveling faster at this time. So for now, just go ahead and follow the main quest. I'm going to go ahead and let this run through. So just in case you're confused about some parts, you can go ahead and you can pause in some parts here, and then if you are done faster than I am in this video, you can just skip through. I'm gonna leave timestamps anyway, but if you want to have a bit of a walkthrough, then just let the video ride and just follow along. A lot of talking quests here, and if there's anything special or anything noteworthy to talk about a quest, I will go ahead and mention it. But if I don't mention it, then chances are it's just going to be like kill this, kill that, grab this, grab that, or talk to this NPC, and that's most likely it for the most part. And if you are using this video while game has already launched and you have any questions that you really can't seem to figure out, feel free to ask me. If you're doing this at launch, chances are I will be or if you're watching this exactly at launch day or early access day, I will most likely be streaming, so feel free to ask questions, because I will be streaming probably 24 hours or more, maybe a subathon even. All right, so we are now in this part of the main quest where we will get our very first guardian. If you're new, guardians are essentially these they're essentially these additional skills that you can use that transform you into a specific guardian depending on what you have equipped, and each of them play a specific role. Some of them DPS, some of them defensive, some of them more on control, like ensnaring people with vines, which is really useful for large scale fights. But this is the start of it, where we get our very first guardian, which is Ezekiel, which gives us defense and gives us lifesteal in our like based on like the amount of mobs in our surroundings, basically. So you're gonna talk to Scarlet's ghost here. Make sure that you pick the second or third option when you talk to her, because if you keep spamming the first option, it's not gonna move you on to the next quest. So this is a bit of a mini jump puzzle, which is actually very easy. But the reason why people get stuck in this area most of the time is because they try to rush it. Don't try to rush this one. It won't give you enough time. So as soon as you activate it, you're going to run up the stairs here. And you might be thinking like, well, I need to rush this. I need to get this done as quick as possible. It's going to work against you. So now you're going to get to this part right here. Some people try to skip this because, you know, sometimes they can think they can make it. But my advice, wait for it. And wait for this thing to be activatable again. Go ahead and activate it. And then you're going to move on to the next area. Let's go ahead and hook yourself up here. Hook up, glide over to the next spot there. There you go. And then glide over again to the next spot. Don't try to rush it here. Now you're here. You're going to go ahead and go to the next platform, or podium rather, and you're going to wait in front of it. You're not going to rush, because if you try to rush it here, you're not going to have enough time. So talk to this one again and hook up to, or rather jump over. You don't have to do anything fancy here, just have to jump over, hook up, don't fall, just stand on the edge, interact with this thing, it'll bring you down. And that is basically the hardest part of this quest that a lot of people tend to get stuck with, especially if they, you know, they forget that they actually don't have to rush it, right? So go ahead now, just go ahead and follow this quest, and you're going to eventually get to the part where you have to fight a mini boss, which is actually pretty easy. And I'll tell you what to do once you get there. Again, choose the second or third option so she'll actually let you through, and you'll have to look through this whole thing over here, this whole cinematic or whatever, and then you're going to grab another piece of quest item here under memory sign. And then you're going to arrive to the area where you'll fight the first boss. Once you grab this energy infused dagger, he's going to do another cinematic thing, and you'll fight him. The mechanics for this fight is actually pretty easy, pretty straightforward. You're going to do as much damage as you can, and then there's going to be an orb that appears when he goes invisible, and you're just going to interact with that orb and then do damage on him again. And then when he disappears again, another orb appears. You're going to take that orb, rinse and repeat, right? And you'll see it right here right now. He goes into stealth pretty early. He's stealth now. Wait for the orb to appear. Beeline for the orb. Interact with it. Once you do, it'll stun him, make him weaker, damage him again, And as soon as he turns invisible, just keep a lookout for the orb. There it goes. Beeline for it. Grab it. Stuns him again. Damage him again. Rinse and repeat. And there you go, your very first guardian. You can either interact with the gates, or you can just press B and just teleport out manually. And that's it. That's the chapter 5. You'll get a free title, and you'll also get your first rare weapon. Go ahead and pick the main hand that you usually use. You're gonna use this temper. You're gonna be back in town and talk to Sophia, and you're gonna follow the appendixes here. And you're gonna meet another Bottleneck again. Level 26 of the Bottleneck. Just go ahead and follow the other appendix quests here that are here right now that are close by. Just go ahead and do them. If you haven't joined a guild yet at this point, go ahead and join a guild. Any guild, just to do the quests. Run up to the guild base, which is to the opposite side of where the bridge is from earlier. Get in there. Gives you a mini tour, and then to your left there's going to be a healing sensor, and there's going to be one over there as well. That's the dual area for your guildmates. See that? Part of the quest. Right beside you. Interact with it. Let it ride. And you're gonna exit again. Now you're at level 26. You are at a bottleneck now. You will need to get to level 28 to get to the next area. Luckily for you, Abandoned Stonemason is now open. Abandoned Stonemason is to the east of where you got the Moonlight Waypoint earlier. There we go. And this is what it looks like, basically, the Daybreak quest. That's where it'll appear. It'll stay there for about, I think, 5 minutes after it turns nighttime to day. It doesn't appear right away as soon as it turns daytime, so you're gonna have to wait like maybe 30 seconds to a minute. And while you're there, and this is only if you're within that time zone where it turns night to day. And if you're there already, you're gonna grab this waypoint. You're not gonna be able to do it yet. A little bit too early. But if you're here already, then this is what you're going to do. You're going to grab this waypoint because later on you're going to traverse through this desert again from that waypoint to the next area. So you can see what I'm doing here right now is I am pressing the star, which is the bookmark, on the quests because you want them to be marked. At this point in time, you can do the basilisk here. The only problem is if there's a lot of people here and they don't know how to do this quest, they might end up trolling you. And this mob is about 5 levels higher than us, so our hit rate will suffer a bit. One of the reasons why I encourage people to build hit and build perception first, and one of the reasons why I actually pop a hit food buff here, so I can try to hit him better. I try to lower him down first. You don't want to bring him over to the trap because the trap really only lasts for like a few seconds, and if you don't kill him within that time, it doesn't count for the quest. So you can see me lowering his HP, leading him over to the trap. Once he gets trapped there, then you can kill him, and it counts for the quest. And now another thing to note about this area specifically is that there are 2 Pale Giant Crystal Scorpion quests. And you can see on the side here, it is 1 Golem's Mana Stone, talk to the Golem Crafter, and then Intimidating Breath, which says defeat Giant Crystal Scorpion, right? So what you need to do first is you need to talk to the Golem Crafter, just close by. And then it will also give you another quest to kill the Giant Crystal Scorpion. This way, 2 birds with 1 stone, you waste the least amount of time and get the most amount of XP, right? Here you can see me grab the Stonemason's Confession. Really, really easy quest to do, just because you just run up here and then go ahead and grab it. And then right in front of me there is the area where the Golem Crafter is. So you see me fly down, rush on over. The platform that he is standing on cannot be reached by mobs, so you can just go ahead and zoom past these mobs here and just go over to him. And you can see that house in front of us there. Let me go ahead and wind it back a little bit. See that house? That is where that A Power's Little Friend quest starts. So they're very close to each other. You can essentially start them all together And what you're going to do is you are going to do that Power's Little Friend quest all the way until the very last quest. You don't have to do the last part of that quest, by the way. You can if you want the free Amatoy, or you can save it for later when you get to 50. Okay, so you can see that, and now you see on the side here, defeat Giant Crystal Scorpion, acquire Flawless Crystal, and we have 2 Giant Crystal Scorpion quests now. Grab the discarded doll, starts up that quest, and defeat Mandrake or Deadly Mandrake to acquire Vitality Masses. This is another drop one where sometimes if you get lucky, you get it right away. Sometimes if you are unlucky, it might take you a little bit longer. Again, if you see people grinding here already or doing these quests, just tag the mobs. Nobody will complain about kill stealing unless they are just oblivious to the fact that you all have a chance to get the loot. At launch, what I advise you to do is run around in this area to try to find the Crystal Scorpion first, because it is a mini boss. It is soloable, but people will also try to go for it. This is one of the reasons why you kind of want to follow the leveling guide too, because of the fact that the moment that majority of the crowd gets here, it's going to be really hard to spot the Scorpion, because if 100 people are hitting it at the same time, it's gonna die in like 3 seconds, right? So you can see it's over there. Try to tank it to the best of your abilities. You can solo tank this thing so long as you don't pull too much aggro. And also if you utilize your Q blocks, and also if you don't stay in his little sandstorm when he curls up his tail and then spins. Just make sure you're always maintaining your distance. What you're seeing here right now is I'm clearing the mandrakes in this specific area, just so I have less mobs to deal with when I do end up 1v1ing. He does spot me here, and my shield bash ends up AoEing another mob. But I am going to rotate him through this house. If you are using SNS, or if you have any type of like knockback, by the way, once you see him try to curl his tail like that and try to spin to create the sandstorm, you can knock him back and it will cancel it completely. Go 2 quests in one go. We level right away, level 27, easy peasy. And at this time, we are gonna be in the area, or in the level range, for Moonlight Desert Exploration Quest. Once you kill the giant scorpion, you're essentially done with Intimidating Breath. You're essentially done with 1 Golem's Mana Stone. The rest of the quests for those for those exploration quests, you don't have to do anymore, by the way. You can skip those completely. You can see me here try to complete the Vitality Masses. While this is ongoing, go ahead and open your Codex, go to Exploration, and under Abandoned Stonemason, you'll see Stonemason's Confession. You can do the first 2 quests of that. It's very easy. And after that, you can skip the last 2. You don't have to do those 2. They take too much time, and the experience that you get from them is unnecessary. And your 1 Golem's Mana Stone, you will be done with 2 of them, and there's going to be 3 left. You don't have to do the rest of those 3. Those take too long. And a Powerless Little Friend is what you were doing right now, the Vitality Masses. Unfortunately, these ones you kind of have to do. Again, it's going to be easier if there's more people there and you just have to tap the mobs. You just have to like, you know, just hit them once and get help killing them. And then after that, you're gonna submit the quest, the 3rd one, and you're gonna skip the last one. You don't have to run back to the old chapel. You can if you want to, if you want the free Amatoy, but if you're speedrunning, you don't have to, right? And that's about it for the Abandoned Stonemason. Now that you're 27 though, Moonlight Desert is up. So what you want to do is you might want to rush to get the waypoint over there in Moonlight Desert, because if you are nearing the night to day or day to night cycle, whichever one, There's another quest in there by the Moonlight Oasis that requires that as a prerequisite. All right, so check your map, make sure that it's like available already, or check or make sure that like you're nearing the timer between like night and day, day and night, right? And also another reason why you want to rush there right away is because there is a quest that says gather from star trees and fruit star trees at Moonlight Desert. If you've been watching this guide from the start, you probably know already that anything that includes gathering is hell. Especially if there are a lot of people that are there already. So if you've been following this guide and you've been speedrunning this whole time, chances are you won't have competition, if not much competition at all, and you can actually still do this really quick because it does give around almost close to like 16k XP, and it's really, really worth getting, right? So that's one of the reasons why. And then you can go back to this part of the video again. You can go ahead and pause this right now and go do that right now since you're level 27, right? The waypoint for the Moonlight Desert, all it is directly east of where the ant waypoint is. The ant cave, like the Sandworm waypoint is. You just got to run across the desert. That's it. Go ahead and do that now, and then continue this after, just to make sure that you get those star trees. And even if you don't get them, if there's too many people there already, it's completely fine. At the very least, you now have the waypoint there, which will save you some travel time later on. This one just looks a little rough, by the way, because of ping. That's it. You won't have as much problem getting to this point as I am right now. And then from up here, you still have another quest. Just go ahead and fly. See on the high concentration mana stone there. Make sure you get that first before you jump down and try to kill the basilisks. For the basilisk here, you see me doing them right now. But my advice is, I only did this because I knew that it was going to be solo all along. My advice is you don't have to do this right now unless there are people here already doing the same thing, and just tag mobs. That's it. You just got to tag mobs. And if you have good RNG, you'll get it in the first one or the second one. And if you have bad RNG, you might get it in like the 5th or 6th one. Okay, and those things, I don't have to do the last one. Like, as soon as I got the Stonemason tools. So here now, you can see me teleport over to the Sandworm Lair. Once you get the Basilisk tools, you don't actually have to go back to the Abandoned Stonemason waypoint and try to submit it. It doesn't really give a lot of XP. And if you skipped it, then that's completely okay as well, because you don't have to do it now. You can do it later when there's more people there. You can just start tapping mobs, right? But if you're on the right path, you're following the guide right now, that means that you will be teleporting over to Sandworm Lair, and you're going to run across this desert for the next one, unless you went here already when I told you to go earlier. Just go ahead right now, run across the desert. You're going to try to get the waypoint here so you can go ahead and get it. If you paused the video earlier and you went and did this earlier, then you probably already have the waypoint, so you can just go ahead and skip through it right now. So now that we have this waypoint, what we can do now is go over to the other side here. This guy, Merchant Vanguard, will have a quest for us. And again, go ahead and bookmark. I unbookmarked this one because I just didn't do it. And then unbookmark the other ones because I don't need to go back to Stonemason. And then we go over here and we bookmark this one, the guy in front of us. And this one, we don't actually need to do this one. This one does give an Amatoy, and it doesn't take that long to do. The only thing is that it's not really necessary to get us to 50, so that's why I skip it. This one, Desert Caravan, we won't have that on day 1, so that's why I didn't do that one, right? This quest is very annoying for a lot of people because it does tend to get confusing and frustrating. But there is a very easy way to do it. You want to try to fly towards that direction when there is a tornado. So if there's no tornado there yet, count maybe by like 3-5 seconds and then fly, right? Fly that direction. Another thing that you could potentially do is land on that tree over there and then fly after, right? But this one I didn't need to. All I need to do here was beeline for the tornado. So even if I don't have stamina anymore, just fly into the tornado. Bit of a ping diff here. Fly up again, get a little bit of stamina, and then transform again, and then glide on over to these rocks. And once you get to the rocks, you're pretty much home free. Just stick to the side here, hug the walls. Jump through the walls here. Jump up. Excuse the 300 ping. There you go. Across the bridge and finish the quest. And that's it. Nothing too complicated. You don't have to time. You don't have to time it. That super complicated timing. You just have to cheese it a little bit, and then get through it. Right? That's it. Teleports you back up there, and then you can go back to the oasis now. Unless you've already done it. Not to mention, there's going to be another quest here, by the way. You see those little cactus things? There's another quest that requires you to gather those. That's also going to be contested. It's not going to be as hard as the little fruit trees, but it's still going to be annoying with hundreds of people if you fall behind on the leveling. But once we get to this part of the quest, we do hit level 28. So what I want you to do now is, instead of continuing this quest line, go ahead and go back to Vienta, do the main quest. So you might be wondering, like, well, I'm already here, like, why don't I just do the quest? So the reason why I don't do those quests right away there is because you are right now very far ahead of the curve. And so basically being ahead means that you're also facing mobs that are of a higher level than you, and that is one of the reasons why we go for the main quest right away as soon as it's available, because once you reach that threshold, the main quest is basically designed to have mobs and opponents that are around your level. It's designed for that level, right? So it's in tune with what level you are, and so what you want to do is you want to do that because it gives the most XP. It'll level you up pretty fast, because if you do the exploration quests first, yes, it might be convenient because you're right beside there anyway. So maybe sometimes if you see something that's just easy to do, it'll take like a minute, a few seconds, and go ahead and do it, like submitting a quest or something like that, then sure, go ahead and do it, right? Especially if it's one of those quests that you have to do anyway. But the problem is sometimes that if you don't go for the main story quest right away, what it also means is that you're essentially facing mobs that are of a higher level than you, and that becomes an issue because the level disparity makes you miss a lot more often. And yes, we are building some hit to kind of circumvent that issue at certain stages of the leveling process, but if you do it too early and you do it without tackling your main story quest first, what happens is it sets you further behind, or it slows down your progression because you're constantly just missing on these mobs. A good example of this is probably Sandworm Lair. In Sandworm Lair, there's a quest that you have to kill 25 mobs. A lot of the times, if you do that first, you will end up delaying yourself by quite a lot, because you will miss probably 70-80% of the hits that you try to dish out, right? The only time that you consider continuing on that quest or that quest line, even if you're underleveled, is if there are also people there that have kept up with you that during that whole time. And if they have kept up with you, that means that you guys can kill that one mob faster, and so you can actually finish the quest as if you were around that level already. That's the only exception. So when the game launches, just be very cognizant of that. It's like, oh, is there a kill quest here? Sandworm Lair? Okay, that's good. And then you can start doing that, right? And things just become easier that way. So here now, we're just continuing through the main story quest because we finally have it. And we're gonna keep doing the main story quest. And we're gonna keep doing the main story quest here all the way until we reach around level 30, which is when the Sandworm Lair minimum level is at. So right now, I will pull up the list of quests that you're gonna be doing for Sandworm Lair, and the platform and puzzles as well. So I'll put a timestamp. So if you have to skip towards that screenshot of the platform, the puzzles, which will save you a lot of time, and you can just like peruse that and then keep going, right? So right now, just keep following your main quest. You're gonna defeat the scarf-wrapped flame swashbuckler, and this mob is also one of the reasons why you want to get ahead as well, because at launch, these things are pretty easy to kill, and when you have around like 30 people in this area, you're also gonna have a hard time getting to the mobs themselves, and it's gonna be difficult, right? Because like thing is like they might just die before you even get to them. If you get lucky enough and you get to tag them, or you get ahead enough so it doesn't matter, then you know, that would be for the better. But you can see as well, like while you're doing this quest, you can see on the side there's some appendix quests that I just never actually did. Speak with Kale for contract coin merchant, right? Rutain in like Carmine Forest, because these quests don't really give a lot, so that's why I skip it. Eventually you'll have to do the one where you have to talk to the contract coin merchant, so you can actually access the contract coin merchant store, and then that's that. And we're also fully skipping the dungeons here as well. You can see I skipped that as well. And then the guild coin one is only because this character was just made, so I hadn't been in the guild long enough to actually make the donation. But once you do, just go ahead and donate. And now this part of the quest is you have to lead these mobs towards these little poison like geysers or whatever you want to call them, or like sulfur gas, and then you have to kill them while they're intoxicated, right? And this gets a bit rough if you're like behind, because if you're lucky and everybody knows what they're doing, you're good. But if there's even just like one person who doesn't know what he's doing, he's probably going to kill the mob before he even gets to the sulfur gas, and that delays everybody else, including you. So this is also one of the reasons why you want to get ahead, and hopefully as you're following this guide, you have been ahead. Okay, and it's just going to continuously lure all the mobs there. Let me just, I can go ahead and skip forward here. You essentially, you get the gist of this basically. Okay, and now in this part right here, you're gonna go get the part of the golems. So what you want to do is you want to get the ones up north first. That way, you can just teleport over to the waypoint over here and then get the last one, right? You're gonna get the one up there because it's the closest, and also because since it's at an elevated like platform, that means you can also fly down from there towards the second one that you're going to, and then it's just easier that way. can see here, like my whole thing almost got canceled. I couldn't teleport. This one you can actually just jump behind that box and they won't be able to make it to you, so you can just teleport back from there. And then go grab the last piece that's going to be underground. And then after you get all 3 pieces, you're going to go to the next area. Some people are pretty confused sometimes of how to get up here since it's not the most straightforward thing. You can actually just go up on the right side of this building here onto the bridge. And then it doesn't show, but there is a grapple hook at the very top of this tower. You just go over to in front of it, look up, and you'll see the F there. You just grapple hook up and you just fly over. There's other ways that you can get to this platform, but this one is the fastest. In this quest right here, you just have to go from 3, 2, 1, and then you just have to hover your mouse over the actual gems, right, like that. It'll form a golem's heart, and then you get to transform into a golem, and you get, this is like your first taste, essentially, of what it feels like to commandeer a golem for Castle Siege. So, you know, the 1 to 50 is part of the tutorial, and this is, you know, indirectly, your Castle Siege golem tutorial. My character Bruno Mars, who's just going to transfer into a golem shortly here. So these guys summon Excavator. This guy is one of the world bosses, but it's okay, we'll whoop him. But that's the guy that you've seen on Throwing Liberty posters if you've been observing. And then this is the other guy that's in the Throwing and Liberty posters. You might have seen me use them as thumbnails. And yeah, this is that fight. So here, all you have to do, you don't have to do anything special. Just spam 1. Just keep spamming 1. It'll wipe the enemies, little guys, and it'll be enough to kill this guy as well. There you go, easy peasy. And then you exit the old chapel. You can go onto the teleport magic circle, or you could just exit out the way that you've always been. And then the next part of this quest is go to the Titan Reach Ruins, and then our next one is to go into Titan Reach Ruins. We're just gonna go ahead and teleport back there. level 30. And there we go. That is one of our bottlenecks. So now we need to do quests in Sandworm Lair. And thankfully, these quests that we do in Sandworm Lair are going to be enough for us to get to 32. Hopefully, you've been following the guide thus far, which means you're very far ahead, because there are some very, very annoying quests in this game if you are part of like the main pack and you're not ahead, which sets you even further behind, essentially. Well, not further behind, but it just delays your leveling, which is annoying. And this one right here, that wasn't actually lag. That was if you morph and you morph a little bit too late, that there's to the point where there's like land underneath you or close, like, you know, underneath you, and if it kind of triggers you to transform back, and that's when that happens. Here, you're just gonna keep following the main quest now, and we're gonna reach our bottleneck soon. Technically, this is our bottleneck already. It's not gonna be enough to level us all the way to 31, but we will have Sandworm Lair, and there's gonna be a bunch of quests there as well. And then that is it for the main quest. Make sure that you claim your rewards before you move on, and then go over to Sandworm Lair. So because we left the Moonlight Desert Quests earlier, we're going to go ahead and do this now. And after this one, we're going to go to Sandworm Lair. This one will help us hit that level 32 a little bit faster. And this is usually the problem here. What you can do to kind of bypass these mobs on your way to the Moonlight Sand Clusters is you can transform into any type of like desert mob or mob in general around the same like race, basically. And you can just, you know, zoom past them. It'll be fine. They won't attack you. And then the Moonlight Sand Cluster that you see here is you just have to roll it. And you have to make sure that it doesn't bump into any type of mob before it reaches its destination. And then when it reaches its destination, all you have to do is interact with it. That's it. Go, starts rolling. And you just have to make sure that while it's rolling in that singular direction, that you make sure that none of these mobs get in the way. Go. As soon as it's done, you interact with it, and you're good to go, right? So you just have to do that 2 times, and then you'll be fine. As soon as you're done with that quest, you just have to submit it over to the NPC here. And you're good to go. So basically, you're just gonna get this in as soon as possible, and then you go over to do the Sandworm Lair after. That's also one of the quests you're gonna be doing that will give you your next Guardian. And here, before I head over to Sandworm Lair, I just run over to the Ant Cave Waypoint. The reason why I want to get this early is because there are going to be quests that require me to go back to Moonlight Oasis, and this is just the faster way of getting there. Is basically just porting over to Ant Cave and just running over to Moonlight Oasis. Don't worry about those tombstones that you saw. That was from a PvP event. And that event we won't be getting until probably like a week after, 5-7 days after. This waypoint does not unlock additional quests for us in the beginning because Ant Cave won't be open for us. In Sandworm Lair, make sure that you bookmark the quests again, because it'll make it a lot easier for you. The blood mushroom gathering, we won't be able to do that. That's not going to be open for us until maybe about a week and a half later, maybe, most likely. And you can see there's a kind of like a quest marker on the mobs already. You don't have to do that one. That is the one where you have to kill 25 mobs. If there are people here, just do it. Especially if there's like 5 to 10 people or more here by this time, and they're doing the same kill quest. Just tag the mobs, party up, be social. And then this monster researcher, we talk to him because he's easy XP. You talk to him, he gives you some potions, some XP, but we can't do the next part of this quest because it is again the blood mushroom gathering. So it's just easy 7k XP just for talking to him while we're in the area already. In front of the waypoint here is another hook to the left, and you'll see it here. The hook, we're gonna hook up all the way up. This is usually where the Boonstone War starts, but we're gonna go across the bridge here because there is a mysterious mask, and this is the start of the quest line for one of the Guardians. So you just have to interact with this thing. It'll point you a direction. You just have to follow it. It's gonna lead you to another orb. Jump down, fly down. Not jump down, but fly down and glide down. If you jump down, you'll die. Grab this next one. Heading to the west here, to the next orb. But before we do, we just jump down this bridge because this is where one of the Ornate Chests are. There's gonna be a bunch more after this that we have to run around and find, but you can just go ahead and glide and get the grapple hook there, so you can be right back up to where you were and continue this quest. This part right here, you want to hug the right side, because otherwise you'll aggro not just the regular Sandworms, but the Chief Sandworm. And at this level, he does hurt quite a bit. He's kind of like this mini boss that is actually part of a quest. So if there's a lot of people here, there's one up here, there's another one on the other side of that bridge we just crossed, and there's another one underground. There's a couple underground as well. But if there's people here, party up, be social, and Just kill him in advance, so you don't have to go back here later. If you can get these kill quests done, including the 25 mobs and the Chief Sandworm, it will make it so you don't have to go back here later on, and that will actually save you some time to get to 50. And on the way there, we just ignore them all, it's okay, because the changes that they've made is basically so mobs cannot cancel you interacting with quest objectives anymore. So you see you can hit me, I'll ignore it, I'll just keep running, it's fine. And we enter the Unknown Rift. Okay, so for this one right here, I am gonna post a screenshot right now. And if you are just listening in, that's fine. So the numbers are gonna correspond to the amount of tiles that you're gonna step on. So starting from the right, you're gonna hop on 2 tiles, and then 3 tiles on the left, and then 2 on the right, 2 on the left, 1 on the right, 3 on the left, 1 on the right, and then 2 on the left. And you can kind of pause this a little bit, just look at where these platforms are, and then when you follow the platforms, you'll get to the end, you'll interact with something. And this one might be a little bit annoying, or maybe it won't be because we'll have better ping, but you just have to dodge all the tornadoes. Thing is, you can't morph here, so you have to anticipate all the tornadoes. And it can, for some people, it can get annoying at first, but don't worry, you'll get used to it. It also kind of teaches you mechanics for dungeons later on. Maybe in your level 50 dungeons, you won't be tornadoes anymore. It might just be rotating scythes chasing you down. And then as soon as this is done, we head on over to another problem, which is this scorpion. So this scorpion, you won't be able to damage him until you kill one of these exploding scarabs close to it, and then that will get rid of its shield. You don't need to kill 2, just 1 is enough. And this is really the only annoying thing that he does. If you have a mobility skill, just move out of it. It's completely fine. That is really, honestly, the only thing that he does that does a lot of damage besides his charge attacks. But yeah, every time you see those scarabs spawn, just you know, wait to use your AoEs, depending on what class you are, and start using them once these scarabs actually spawn, so that way they explode beside them and you'll be fine, right? Also, for this, to make it easier for you, use a hit food buff. Use a regular hit food buff and you'll be fine. And also, don't try to use your potions sparingly. You have to realize that we're very ahead right now. This is the thing that I mentioned, that it's a good idea for us to do our main quest first, because if you look at his level versus ours, we're level 31, he's 37, we're going to be missing a lot, and that explains why I want you to use your hit food buff here, and that also explains why I want you to not be very sparing with your potions. If you go down to like 80% health or something like that, just make sure to use your potions. Try not to save them. You'll get a lot more later on. It's fine. And also something that I demonstrated here just to show that it was possible, and it was, or not possible, but easy still to do, is not using Stellarites. You can see in the bottom middle of my screen, right to the left of my weapons, it is empty. You can actually equip Stellarites there to deal 10% to 15% more damage. And just make sure that you equip it to both your weapons. So equip it on one weapon, use your click your tilde key, switch to your other weapon, equip it there as well, and switch back to your main weapon again. And that will help you kill these things and all the, well, really all the other mobs that you fight along the way. And don't worry, like when you start doing world bosses, you'll get a lot more of those for free. And you can buy them from the merchant as well. Okay, just make sure that you block those purple swirls. You can see I'm doing 0 damage right now. I have to explode one of these things. There you go. Now he's vulnerable. And I miss. Yeah, that's basically it. Rinse and repeat. There we go, all done. We're gonna teleport out. And ancient writing. There we go, Dantalux is now one of our guardians. And that's it. So after that quest, we're gonna run over to the western side of Sandworm Lair. There is going to be a merchant here that we're gonna talk to. But this is the merchant. Okay. And we're gonna go find the other 2 pieces of that map. If you look at the right side, by the way, the collect merchant's handwritten record south of Moonlight Desert, you don't have to do that one. It gives so little XP, it's honestly just not worth wasting your time on it. And after you're done with that, you can go ahead and port back to the waypoint or run there. And we're going to go underground to find the next ornate box. Go straight down and then to the left here. And then we're going to turn right to the water. There we go. And then the ornate box will be to our right, up there. There we go. And desync. There you go. God damn. Okay, and then we port back to the waypoint, and we're gonna find the next, or rather last, ornate box for the 4th drawing. We're gonna run over there. We're gonna take a very familiar route here. We're gonna grapple up. We're gonna cross that same bridge again. You don't have to worry about that mysterious book. You only get that if you want some free cosmetic materials. We're gonna go ahead and hook up here. All the way up, and there we go. The final ornate chest. Go ahead and grab that. Finishing that one up. And from here, we're gonna go ahead and glide down. Towards Queen's Trap. And one of the things that we're going to be looking for, or the one thing that we're going to be looking for here is the Guild Owner Seal, which is to the right here, actually. I was just trying to avoid the sandworms here. It's going to be that box up there. There's going to be a hook here as well, so you just have to hook up. And this one, take the seal, and go back to the merchant. Just have to teleport back to the waypoint again. Save some time, and we run back to the merchant. Okay, now that that quest is done, we are level 31, a bit over 50%. You can see at this point I haven't even done the kill quests yet. If you've managed to do the kill quests here right now, if there's people doing it at the same time, you will actually get to 32. One of the other things that you can do right now is you go to your secret dungeons again. You should have a lot of the Taedal's tower available already. So what you can do to kind of harvest that XP right now, if you would like to, you could actually wait up on it. Is you can go back to the Starlight Observatory, because you outlevel those Taedal bosses so much at this point and much later on that they will just be so easy to kill. At this point in time, we are now at level 31, which means that we can try to attempt this Chief Sandworm. It is still pretty doable, but especially if there's a group of people here. But we're gonna go ahead and skip that for now, just because we don't need to do it. Doing the 25 was more than enough to get us quite up there. If you are able to finish it though, you will be 32 and you'll start doing the main quest again. But if you're not able to do it at that time, which I highly doubt it because there's going to be a lot of people doing it at this point in time, then you can go back to Urstella. And at this level, the mobs that you kill here for Taedal's tower, they're pretty much going to be really easy. All you really have to do is just look out for the purple swirl and just block it if you need to. These lower level ones though, you can pretty much just bum rush them. Go back to Sandworm Lair and start doing the main quest again. Right now, there's actually an event going on here. This is the Blood Mushroom event. And all really have to do here is just kind of skip it, because this won't be available day one. Do that warning sign, talk to the merchant right here again. And we're going to go underground after this. Run back to the direction of the waypoint, but not all the way. There's going to be a hole in the ground here on the left soon. We're going to jump down, investigate the pile of bones, and then after we investigate the pile of bones, we're going to jump down again. Okay, and then Bell and Deer appears. We just have to hang left here, stick to the left side, keep running, so you don't get slowed by the little sand pits there. Keep going. An NPC will stop you for some reason, so she can talk to you while you're being chased by a giant worm. That's fine. Keep running. Talk to Josephine, and she's gonna take you out of there. Go. You manage to survive. You leave behind some serious permanent marker on the ground there. Dr. Josephine, follow the quest here. I won't talk through much of this one, just go ahead and follow the main quest right now, and then I'll get back to you the moment that it is time to keep continuing. We just port back to Sandworm Lair, and then we're gonna go further south. Run all the way. You can see in the mini-map on the top right there, somebody is trying to chase me down. Please let me live. You see level 32 is like, you're really gonna chase me down? Go. We won't have this day one, thankfully. And this is gonna be a chain of quests that actually gives a ton of XP. For this part of the quest, by the way, it's similar to the Basilisk one before, where you want to lower their HP a little bit first before you lead them to the trap. The only other addition here is you actually have to activate the trap first before you can lead the mob to it. Don't mind this one, I just wanted to get some revenge, so I decided to... There we go. But that's basically it. You're trying to get the poison trap open, get the injured armadillo on it. That way you can kill it quickly enough before the trap itself expires. And yeah, this one, oh my fuck, this spineback lizard decides to spawn right on top of the poison trap. I'm gonna skip through this before I get tilted. And then after you're done with that part of the quest, you're gonna port back to where the ant cave is, and then we're just gonna run west from the waypoints, and we're actually gonna jump down. You don't have to go to where I am right now. You can just go straight to the purple. You can jump a little bit sooner, then just zoom down. And here, you just have to talk to this guy, and you're gonna morph into a type of like arachnid, right? So what you're gonna do is right now you're gonna press escape, go into morph, go into special morphs, and then pick an arachnid of your choice. Page up is the default button for morphing into actual mobs. And then you're gonna destroy this egg by accident, and then Sandworm is gonna spawn. He's nothing too hard. He's actually easier than the actual Sandworm Chief. So just make sure that you Q block the purple swirls, and then when he dips down into the ground, you can actually tank this. You don't have to run out of it, but it's good practice to do mechanics in advance, right? So you don't develop bad habits. So again, just keep following the quest. And then I'll be back with you as soon as we get to the part with the exploration quest, because we're actually going to head to the new area soon here, which is Daybreak Shore. And it is possibly one of the more annoying quests that you have to deal with, but don't worry, that's kind of what this guide is for. Makes it really easy for you to get everything done in one go and not waste a lot of time. And this is the part of the quest where you have to collect the cactus water. And also, this is one of the reasons why you want to stay ahead, because if they haven't changed it so everybody has their own node yet, this is going to be very annoying. They haven't changed it yet in Korea, so I don't think they'll have it changed for global. If they did, good news. If they didn't, well, also good news, because you're probably ahead of everybody else, and then you get to do this quest before there is a ton of people here, which if you can't do it or they can't do it, they will actually be they'll be set back quite a bit. So You can see I just decided to get the cactus here because it just turned nighttime, and then you see that glow right there. That's it. You just have to go in there and then complete the quest just by standing in it. You don't have to do anything special. But if you're standing in that lit up box, then that means the quest is done. And now we do the gliding part. This is also another part where it was a bit of a clusterfuck in OBT and Hyper Boost, because they didn't give everybody their own node. And so I hope that they give everybody their own node in global, so people are not stuck here. We were actually stuck here for about, I was stuck here for about 4 hours because my ping was horrendous, and everybody was going for the same single crystal that you see there. So thankfully, if you have been following this guide thus far, that means you're probably way ahead of the pack, and that probably also means that you won't have to fight against 2,000 people to get this thing. Harvest the crystal, then you're gonna have to glide. Before you continue gliding from point to point, by the way, make sure that you have full stamina. Because if you don't have full stamina, you'll land all the way down on the ground and you're gonna have to run back up here again. And you don't want that, because that's a huge waste of time. part is pretty easy. You're pretty familiar with the terrain already. As soon as you port over, just go all the way down and turn left at the first opportunity that you get. And straight to your left here is the first one that you're going to interact with. And there's a bunch more as soon as you dive deeper into this area. Just go ahead and destroy this starving ant for now. Then after you're done with that, you can teleport back to the waypoint. Jump down from the waypoint, and it's going to be directly underneath you, the little jar. Go inside the campsite here, and choose Starving Ant. Don't rush like I did just there, and choose Starving Blood Ant. Complete the quest, and then there you go. You're gonna go back to the raid group down south again. Keep doing this main quest. Don't worry about those merchants' handwritten records. I know it's tempting, but trust me, the XP that you get from it is complete garbage. So you're just gonna go rush this this main quest because it gives you a ton of XP. Just finish up this this part of the quest. It'll give you enough to get to 35 plus. So as soon as you finish this area, what's going to happen is you will now be high enough level to get to Daybreak Shore. You have two choices here. You can rush over to Daybreak Shore, or you can start doing your Taedal's Tower. Before you do rush to Daybreak Shore though, make sure that you try to get the Sanctuary Oasis already. Right, so you can rush over there after. You don't have to worry about mana waste yet. You can pass by it if you want to, but it's not necessary at the moment because it's pretty easy to get there actually. You could always just teleport over to Daybreak Shore Waypoint over here to the east here, and then just run over there later on. Right, port it over to Moonlight Desert, and then we are going to run over to Sanctuary Oasis and get this quick pit stop, getting this waypoint, which will make traveling back and forth a lot easier. And a quick side note as well, it's very highly unlikely, but in the event that they mess something up with the questing system, you can actually do the contracts. You can actually do some contracts here in this area, and the difference between this and like the level 50 contracts is like one less material, like upgrade material, and a little less like 3k less XP, I think, or something like that. Like generally you don't want to do that, but if worse comes to worse and they actually mess up the leveling process and not give you enough XP to move on to the next area, then you can just do contracts here. It's completely fine. Like whatever loss you incur is not going to matter within a few days. Since it's nighttime, after I did the Firefly quest, I killed the sea crabs right away because you actually need a drop for it for the Allies Rest quest as well. So if it is not nighttime yet, and it is, I know, it's daytime, so it's gonna be a while before nighttime. This is what you're gonna do first for Allies Rest. So you need to fly onto the mast of that boat. You're gonna pay attention to this one and do it exactly as I do it. That way you don't have to run over here and fly down multiple times. This should be a lot easier in NA with a lot better ping. So you're gonna jump off of there, transform into a bird. You're gonna land on this first mast here and try to recover some stamina first. You can try to gamba it and land on the other one right away, but not recommended. Go, you see me landing there. There's the first sailor's keepsake, and then we're gonna turn back. We're gonna fly over to the next one. Land up top, right down here. Sailor's keepsake. Hook back up. We're gonna fly to the other side of the other half of this ship. And it's gonna be on the other end. Don't mind this one, I just got this one because I thought it looked pretty. Sailor's keepsake. And then the last one is going to be at the bottom. You can see the Phantom Ruber is already over there. He only appears at night. It's okay. Even if he doesn't give too much XP. He doesn't give a lot. It's like less than 1,000, I believe. So that's why it's not too big of a deal. Okay, but since it's nighttime, we're gonna go ahead and talk to him here. But again, if it's not nighttime for you, don't worry too much about it. Your next objective is that boss at the bottom there, the Pirate King Chest Crab. He is doable at this stage. If there's other people around here, he's gonna be even easier. And I kind of just do him solo just to kind of show you that, you know, it is doable. But what you want to do though is you want to pull him to the middle of this ship. That way you don't accidentally aggro the little skull crab looking things. Because yeah, those guys, they hurt. And then as soon as he's down, that quest is done. You're gonna climb up that tower over there. Grapple all the way up. You have to talk to this NPC first. So make sure before you jump over that you recover your stamina first, because grappling does take stamina. So you'll have less stamina going up here. Then grab the measuring device and then fly over. So once you get there, you'll complete the quest and you'll have to talk to the NPC. In this video, I skipped it because I wanted to see if I could get away with not doing it and still meet the breakpoints, but it turns out that you have to do it. I ended up being stuck later on because I decided to skip this area. So just don't skip this area and submit, go swim back and submit the quest. And we're gonna port back to Moonlight Desert again. And we're gonna do the other part of the Daybreak shore quest. So you're gonna run south here, jump down to a series of bridges. And you're gonna do kind of like a, not really a jump puzzle, but you're gonna have to chase the phantom of a tree, basically. Across this rock bridge, there's gonna be a tree here. Yep, that small elemental tree. You're gonna interact with it, and you're gonna try to chase its phantom. Try to rush there as soon as you can. You can just drop off here. Touch it, jump, fly, grapple hook onto this thing, fly again. Keep hitting space bar here. Go. And then just jump. You don't have to worry about replenishing your stamina here because touching that phantom actually replenishes your stamina. There we go. Then just follow along. Land on this one. Go. And then you'll notice the blue glowing paint on the rocks here. You can just go ahead and follow that. Okay, and once you reach up here, that is the second to the last part of the quest. After you're done here, you're just gonna glide all the way down to the shore again, up on this rock, and there's gonna be a page here, which is the last part of that quest. See that fallen paper? Go ahead and grab that thing whenever you can, and that completes the quest. Right? And then you're gonna head north. You're gonna grab the waypoint for Raging Wilds, and then we're gonna do the Raging Wilds quests here. So Raging Wilds is actually one of the best places, more like easiest places to do your Mystic Keys at if you want to start using those. I do recommend, however, that you save those Mystic Keys. You use them closer to their expiration date. So basically, like the day that they're the day before they're expiring is when you want to use them, especially if you're in a competitive guild, because your activity points do decay on a daily basis, so that way you have more value on those mystic keys. If you're not in a competitive guild, then that doesn't matter to you. You can go ahead and just do your mystic keys. It is no problem. And then north of the Waypoint is the dispatched wizard. You just have to talk to him. He'll give you the quest to do the catapult. So this catapult can be doable solo. It's rough with really bad ping, but with low ping, it's actually pretty easy. You can do it solo. You can just climb up here, hit the switch on your own, and then jump to the head of the catapult. And as soon as it tosses you in the air, just make sure you're pressing spacebar, spam it, and then press it again so you fly a little bit higher. Grab this thing, and then you can go back and submit it to the wizard. If there are people here that you can party with, you can start killing these Temetrans, the golems, and start banging these quests out, because they're going to be very, very easy if you actually have people to do it with. With solo, it's still going to be easy solo. It's just going to take longer, and why make it take longer when it doesn't have to, right? And here you can see I found somebody who happened to be leveling a character as well, Black Paladins, from one of the Brazilian homies. So shout out to him. And this is basically the Golden Chief. You can see it's pretty easy. We're actually chatting while we're doing this. You just have to kind of lure it in a little bit, right? Like if you're ranged, it's so much easier. If you're sword and shield, you can try to, hook it. So you aggro it and then just bring it to the side here. And you can see that kill gets me to level 38. Technically, this will be enough for us to continue on to the main quest. But because I have people here, or I have somebody here to do the quest with, we decided that we can just go ahead and do the tree boss as well. And so we run over to the a bit southwest from here is where that chief usually spawns. Go close to the desert and the Temetran chief. Fairly easy to kill with 2 people. He is kind of tanky because he tends to avoid a lot. He is 4 levels above us, so that is a bit of a difference maker. But we popped food buffs prior to this, I believe. And then that's basically it. You just gang up on him, and then you can solo him, but doing it with multiple people does help. That little spike thing he does when he raises his arms, you can actually Q block that as well. I'm going to go ahead and skip this one because this fight is pretty straightforward.